In this short clip from our Rank Up Challenge cohort, we'll be learning how to master the post plant on Icebox. Let's get it. So let's talk about these plants. First, before we talk about post plants and post plant positioning and shit, you gotta know that before you get to the plant, before you even get to the plant, you gotta decide before you finish planning whether you're actively contesting or if you're playing to stall for time. So let's look at A site, for example. What that means is, are you gonna hold and fight for screens? Are you gonna hold and fight for rafters? Are you gonna sit back maze and hold like this and have a guy top 410 holding with you, guy top pipes holding with you? Are you gonna be fighting rafters actively where you've got like your jet top gen and you've got a guy below him? Maybe even you have a guy like hanging off of screens, right? I think someone's knocking on my front door. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah. Or are you gonna sit back and have like a good plant and play like nest and bell and jail and pipes and yeah. So you gotta make that decision before you go out and get ready to fight people. Or before you plant the bomb. You gotta make that decision and you gotta communicate with your team, because the worst thing that can happen is you've got like two guys up here and the rest of the team is like playing post plant. And you're like, what the fuck? Because then it's like two 2v5s basically, which is usually losing. And you also have to make sure you're not getting flanked, especially if you're playing back to stall time. Because if you're all playing like belt and you're looking this way and some guy just comes and gets like 2 kills for free from behind, not only did he get 2 kills, but he also has put massive pressure because you're getting pinched. So now you've got to worry about 2 threats, which is not good. That's going to be a common theme on every map. Don't get flanked. Flanks are pretty lethal. So let's talk about the B site first, because there's less. So B site, general tips: don't play yellow against team comps with lots of stuns and mollies. And if they don't have that stuff, do play yellow. So if you're up against a comp that's got like KO Sage, Viper, Sova, you probably don't want to play yellow because you're probably gonna get util spammed. So don't. But if they only have like a Sova and a Viper, then you're probably chill to play yellow because they're not gonna kill you with that stuff. Not in ranked at least. And then please, please, please do not fight Snowman. This is a dumb fight. Just don't. There's no reason to. Yeah. Wait for them to come up past the wall. Alright. And then there's 2 plants on B. There's like more options, but these are pretty like niche cases where you would be doing these plants, so I'm not gonna go over them because they're usually for like clutch situations, and we don't care about clutches. We care about converting the majority of rounds. So plant 1 here on the left side, it's easier to shoot from yellow, which is like the whole point of this plant, and you don't have to expose yourself as much to see it from green. So those are the advantages. And you've also got the fact that the defenders have way less cover. So if they're defusing right here, they can just like quickly dip back. But here, they're more in the open, and it's closer for them to like come to the left than it is for them to like back up. Like, it's awkward for them to back up, basically. So that's super good for the plant. I prefer this plant, but it's hard to get this plant without a Sage Wall or Harbor. So usually people will plant with this default plant where the number 2 is. This is easier to shoot from the right side of yellow, but that also has the adverse effect of making it harder to control yellow because you're the first contact for the bomb, but you also have to control this space actively, which is pretty hard if you're also first contact for bomb. And it's imperative that when you have this plant, you actually don't lose control of yellow. So if you're facing one of those comps with like a bunch of mollies and stuff, you should not be doing this plant. You should be going for a plant on this corner, or you should be going for the number 1 plant. So one of these two. I guess this would be like a pseudo like number 3. What the fuck was that? Yeah. So if you lose yellow, the problem with that is that you have to swing out all the way to see the bomb. And that's super problematic because obviously the teammates of the diffuser don't have to be swung out all the way. They could be here, or they could be yellow, or they could be here, or they could be top site staring at you. So you might not even get to see if they're diffusing or not because you might die first. So make sure you don't plant on the wall unless you are 100% certain that you have and can maintain yellow control. Because I see this mistake all the time in literally every Icebox VOD I've ever watched. I've seen this mistake. This video is just a small part of what goes on in our Rank Up Challenge cohorts. You can sign up to learn everything about Valorant and guarantee a 200 RR ranked improvement by using the first link in the description.
What mistake? I was writing notes.
Planning on this wall right here if you don't
Oh.
think you can control yellow. So if they have like Silva, Viper, KO, Sage, you probably won't control
Got it.
yellow. Yeah. Because it's just really shit to hold this because they can peek you before you peek it.
I have a question.
Mhm.
When I don't know where to overheat from on Icebox, I usually don't overheat. Just like thinking about it, I usually don't ever overheat.
Okay. That's fine. It's Icebox. Overheats aren't really that meta. I don't know what the fuck's going on with my valve. I'm restarting it. But if you're gonna overheat, the way you do it is you will push into screens with a homie, and you'll just like chill right here, like a high-low. But you need to have someone like holding your rafters actively. So that's probably gonna be from the pipes area and from here. Or you just push out rafters straight up and make sure you have your dash, or you're with another duelist. On B, there's not really an overheat that's consistent. Outside of just like peeking through this wall really quickly, or peeking through here, or fighting with teammates to take snowman. Yeah, on this map you don't really overheat. You just kind of plant and leave it be.
Yeah, gotcha.
Yeah. So you just become first contact on post plant rather than overheating. Yeah. Now for the A site, which is a doozy because there's a lot more plant options. In general, first of all, don't fight screens unless you have a large force or are being flanked by a large force. So this is why it's hard to overheat, right? You come out screens, there's this 50-50 plus boiler, which is just super ass. Don't play top site unless you have harbor or viper wall protecting you from screens. So if you don't have like this wall covering screens, it's really ass to be up here because they can shoot you from boiler like pretty easily. And most people are very aware of top screens and they'll look out for it. And then never take a solo fight on A. Like you're actually just throwing. If you take a solo fight after the bomb goes down like this, you better have like a teammate top gen or on this box or like right next to you or some shit. Because it's just really easy to snowball and lose the A site by not playing together. So if you notice your team backing out, back out with them. If you notice your team is staying on, stay there with them. Because it gets really messy really quick on the A site.
So since you said not to overheat, where should I like position myself? Usually, like if I'm staying on
Like
site,
we mentioned earlier. Top
I tend
410, top
oh
site, top of this box,
yeah.
top
Well,
gen,
what about B? Usually I just end up just
just
playing on
yellow.
blue. Oh, yellow.
Yeah.
What if it's the anti-yellow
Then don't
team
play yellow.
comps? Well, yeah.
Play here. What you could do is you could, if you know you're facing one of those comps, that's gonna make it more likely for you to be pushing through the snowman or pushing mid, or where you get one of these more open plants where you plant like here and you do a wrap.
Mhm.
Yeah. But you're also not really gonna be facing those comps in ranked. It's more of a note for like Josh, since he's running like premier stuff and wants to be serious about that.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so for the A site, there's a lot more options. So the first one is the God plant. Okay, if you see this plant and you see a teammate doing this plant, or you plan for this plant in the pre-round, you better fucking call as soon as this bomb goes down for your whole team to get the fuck out. The number one way I see people lose rounds with this plant is by playing on site. If this plant goes down, it is impossible to lose if you play pipes, belt, nest, back belt, and jail. You can't lose. And I mean, we saw a prime example of this with what was it? Loud?
Wait, the
right?
two or the are you talking about 2 or 3?
One.
Oh, one?
God
Okay.
plant. Top site.
Yeah.
Anywhere on this line right here where it's like parallel to the zip line, that's what you want.
Yeah.
So if you get that plant, get the fuck out of there. That's how you win. And don't peek unless you have to. Like that's super simple. Because the way you throw this is you go to peek the bomb and you get shit on from like this angle, or your belt and you get shit on from here, or from here. Like just don't peek unless you have to. And don't peek more than you have to. Yeah. Plant number 2, what I think should be default, but it's not because people are dumb. This is very nice because you can either play on site over here, especially if it's Sage, you can like double up hell. Or you can like also play on site, but you have this belt crossfire, which is super sick, where you got like one hell, one belt, and like the rest of the players play base. So that's cool.
What it's called base.
Yeah. Yeah. And then if not, you all could just back out to jail and to belt and play post plant, which is really nice. Plant number 3, this is played from pipes, bot pipes, and nest, and it's pretty safe plant. It's not like super good, but it's also not bad, so it's nice. Just make sure you don't peek a bunch, because it's actually very hard for the defenders to like defuse properly and also fight you, because for them to fight you, they have to be up, like pushing you, or they have to be like on the diffuser. So it's actually like pretty hard to lose this post plant if you're not over peeking. And then default, please just never plant here. Like my note is, you literally can't see this from anywhere. Never plant. So like if you can, this should be your default number 2 here. This number 4 is just absolutely dog shit. And if you do it, I'm just gonna close your VOD if you send it for VOD review and you plant in number 4. Like you're done. It's so bad. Never plant in this spot. Yeah, the icebox is like pretty straightforward.